Alright, we're going to come up with a topic at some point, but I'm going to do it organically, I think. If I come up with a non-invasive topic, I always try to talk about something. And we're going to try to do a mission while I'm playing, so it's going to be a lot harder for me to talk, but it's going to be great.
Anyone else think this is going to end with romance?
Foreshadowing.
What the fuck is this shit? Oh, give me a break. Fuck! Ah! Ah! I'll tear you apart like a puta. You need to mind your business.
Alright. Now I'm gonna go to C2. Oh look, it's really close. Wait, I'm gonna see something. I'm gonna Franklin. Alright, so,
If he's back in Sandy Shores, why didn't I hear about it? God damn!
Damn, these redneck fools know we own them now. That's right, Chop. We gonna fuck them up as soon as Trevor get here. Hey, man, me and Chop on these punks. We coming up to WH, north of Chumas.
All right, the O'Neill brothers are coming to us.
I think they was about to send one of them anti-tank rockets into your Vespucci condo when one of your roomies told them that you was gone.
Okay, so if you're on the WH, that means you'll be coming through Ratton Canyon, right?
Shit, I guess.
Good. Me and MT are gonna take the company chopper and meet you there. Company chopper, yes, Michael, it's a tax write-off. Frank, you still there?
Yeah, I'm just about holding on to the road.
We're taking the chopper and we'll head you off. Deal with these business-stealing pricks on the road.
Hey, dawg, can you, like, get on it? Because these dudes is rolling hard.
We're 5 minutes out from the chopper.
All right.
alright, so, coming up with a good topic.
Shit!
Hellfire!
Look at you go, man! Look at you go! Oh, shit!
Do I have any bullets left? Maybe. I have...
Trevor, man, shit, you there? There was a deer in the road, man. These motherfuckers crashed out.
They crashed. They dead?
Nah, they gone. They ran into the fucking woods, man. I need air support like right fucking now.
Alright, so...
Don't worry. Incoming!
Incoming? Man, you're all business.
Yeah, well, this is kind of important. These men don't like me, and they know we're back in the Sandy Shore, so... Here she is, the Biz Alley. Remember, she ain't mine, she's the company's.
Look, why do these guys, the O'Neills, want you dead anyway? There was a deal. The contract to end all contracts. Serious multinational stuff. I was this close! Then they stole it off me. Why do they want you dead? Wow, what's with all the questions? Can you just take my side for once? Hey, I'm coming along for the ride, ain't I? Yeah, but I sense your heart ain't in it. Yeah, I'm lucky my heart ain't in a pie on your kitchen table. Always with the quips. You're such a depressing cynic. Oh, poor Trevor. I'm sorry I'm a human being with thoughts and feelings and emotions. Wait a second. I remember this chopper. We used this to break into the IAA building. You stole it from the FIB? Not so. I took it in lieu of payment. There was a rifle on board, too, so if your panties aren't all in a twist over stolen office supplies, can you please use it to scan the forest for the O'Neills? Oh, I'm your hitman now. I'm not gonna force you, Michael.
Hey, hey! We here on the ground. Them hick dudes in the woods.
That model's fitted with a thermal scope. Look for their heat signatures. Any of them punks wading around in the shallows? Unless Moose had started walking on two legs. Here we go. Guy between the trees. Yeah, he looks like a human being. Oh, there's a guy in the creek over here. Brought his ass down. Just one poor soul remaining. That guy wasn't moving fast enough. They're gonna be heading to higher ground. Check the hill. Move your aim to the left a bit. I think there's someone there. I think I see someone to the right there. Move your sights up a little. I might have seen him. Mike, there's something! Fuck me, incoming! He's behind the rock. I can't get a shot.
It's on you, homie. You know what hick smell like.
Track him down, Frank. We're about to get shot out of the sky here.
We gon' handle this. If you swimming, I am too. Fuck. Man, this water's fucking cold.
Yeah, so coming up with stuff to think about. I don't know. It's a good thing to talk about today. Oh, okay.
Hear that, boy? We closing in. Tear him up. Tear up that bitch.
He who ain't heard the last of the O'Neills.
Yes, I'm here to help.
I'll be back to revenge myself.
Alright, now that the angry hillbillies with rockets are dead, is there anyone else we should worry about trying to kill you? Oh, sure. Yeah, there's some bikers, the Chinese, Madrizo's people, whatever. Don't act like you're
Alright. Alright. Wait a second. Wait a second. Alright. Don't fucking, alright. 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 I gotta pick him up by the canyon. Up.
The airfield's mine, don't you? Oh yeah, you can afford a runway, but you can't afford to move out of that corrugated metal death shack. So how you guys doing? Well, we're alive. Hey, good work down there.
I'm the one who says thank you. He was helping me. Thank you, Franklin.
Yeah, it's cool, Holmes.
And thank you, Chop.
Hey, are you gonna tell us exactly what we were helping with? I know you said these guys stole some business, but that doesn't really explain why they wanted you dead.
Didn't I say what happened after they stole the contract?
Nope, you didn't.
I went to their farm and I killed a lot of them and then I blew it up.
Killed a lot of them?
Yes! I think that was Elwood, Walton, and Wynn who we killed just then. I killed Ernie, Earl, Dale, Doyle, Daryl, Dalton, and Don, and a few other guys when I blew up the farm. So, maybe this is kind of a revenge thing. I don't know. Let's not forget that I'm the wrong party here.
Yeah, you are definitely the wrong party.
Oh, for sure.
Alright, so we'll talk about something to do with health. Oh, actually, you know what?
Coming
Yeah.
into land.
Oh, I had to land right there.
Don't it feel good, huh? Helping a friend in need?
Come on, Chop. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Taking out some hillbilly crank dealers on a blood feud. That's what I live for.
Hey, Trev, man, we gonna borrow this and head back to town.
Sure.
Come on, Michael, man. I'll drop your ass off on the way back. Chop, get in.
See you back at Castle Phillips, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for the warning.
Yeah, so, okay. We're gonna come up with a topic now. Let's see. A lot of people talk about stuff, and it's not what they talk about. I'd say it's the way that they introduce things sometimes. That kind of bothers me in some ways. I see stuff that bothers me all the time. And, not all the time, but I see things that bother me sometimes. It's not that I'm hallucinating or anything like that. I mean, I'm not that schizoaffective. I think erratically sometimes. That's the reason why I have a schizoaffective disorder. And, I think most of the time, the stuff that I think about, there's this kind of, whenever you're listening to a comedian or something like that, there's always this kind of like, I have this certain view and I don't expect anyone to have the same view as me. But this is the way that I want to tell it. So, what winds up happening is people who have like similar views, they share their views as well, and they expect people to alienate them, or expect people to get alienated, basically. And I don't understand the whole concept behind alienating someone with different views than you. I do also understand the values of
Moron! Crap!
I'm gonna let the police handle this.
I don't understand it, because in a country where you I'd say have a reputation to speak of, you share your values or what you believe in or how you think, or even just your passing fancy or passing thought with someone, and you'd expect that other people get that right, or get that value, or get that have that want to be able to be comfortable, or not even be comfortable, but just be able to share their values, or be able to share their things.
See this car here?
And I think that's the reason why people think that it's alienate. Oh, I'm getting a motorcycle. All right. I think that's the. I think that's the real value of. Hold on 1 second. All right, so you see this this opinion. This opinion itself is, my opinions myself are completely individualistic. I don't expect people to and I know I'm sounding like I'm preaching to like some sort of choir, but I'm saying the same things that other people are. But also too, if somebody has a different opinion than me, that's cool and that's well and good. That's all completely fine. I don't expect other people to have, I guess. It's like, but also too, I don't really like. I don't hold my, like, I don't get paid yet to do this. I mean, or I don't get paid at all to do this, and I don't expect to get paid at all to do this. You know? So it's like, maybe I have a different perspective on it. Maybe I have a different take on it, too, as well, because of that specific thing. But I don't think no matter how much anyone is getting paid, I don't think they have the right to tell people whether their opinion's valid or not. I don't give a shit. I mean, whether or not people are getting paid. I don't think that. I mean, you find out terrible things every day, you know? But there's always that kind of stuff that if you're just paying attention to the right kind of stuff, or if you're just paying attention to the right kind of thing, or there's terrible things that are happening right now. Like, terrible things that are happening in Syria. People that are being cutthroat in Libya and Nigeria, and a whole bunch of different other things that are actually happening. But I think that what people are trying to say about what I'm trying to say about what this thing is if you pay attention to a certain part of anything, like if you pay attention to just the like, oh, there's a malaise happening. It's like, yeah, there's a malaise happening because there's a lot of people dying, like, all the time. It's like there's a reason why people like the same stuff over and over again sometimes. Is because it reminds them about something that they did, or something that, a place that they went to and they had that song on, or anything, whether it's repetitive or not. It's a momentous occasion sometimes, or a momentous sort of thing, and in that sometimes people try to, within those realms of thinking and opinion having, people are forced into what they think they have, or what they think they are, and there's some, it's like there's a smorgasbord of opinion having for people who pay attention to it. And so there's instead of an actual thing happening, there's this game of minds where people who are extremely smart, or at least smart enough to see patterns, see this oh, it's running rampant. There's so much terrible things. There's so many different people that are doing terrible things and saying different things that are terrible. Only to cultures and certain like, say for instance, what's the word redbone mean? Does it mean Native American? Because if it does, then it's a little racist. But there's also people who wouldn't normally even see that word to be any sort of anything, because they're referring to a chick that is like really freaking hot, that is of a Native American descent. So it would be seen as a compliment to a man saying it who's never uttered the thought of, maybe I shouldn't be degrading myself and saying all these things are the way they are because of the environment. Not even the environment, but the lack of environment that he was growing up in. And no, I can't say that because of my experience, but I'm saying that because of my opinions. I'm not saying that anything gives me entitlement to say different things. I'm saying that because I have that opinion, I'm saying it. There is no entitlement. That's what I believe. There is a right. That nothing is, that right isn't given or taken away by any one or many people. Unless that many people is in agreement with me. Because that many people would have to make an amendment. So that amendment itself, and also within the first part of the Constitution, I guess there's the thought of I knew it was in the bush, but I think at any and that's the point though, is in any instance of me talking and saying any sort of little thing, I find it in my own realm of opinion to come up with some sort of grandioso opinion that's based on. To give myself clarity and to give myself validation. I don't find it ignorant to not do that. But I certainly do find it ignorant to and that's the point and the reason why I believe in a whole bunch of different stuff that people believe is some sort of primal age, I think is just childish. Like, say for instance, they had those like in the olden days, shooting matches were illegal, and people would die in them if they had legal reason to. I also thought that was childish. I also think that in itself is completely and utterly childish. And not just because you can come up with different creative ways to try to torture someone, but in the certain ways that you come up with a way to see a certain in a new light. That to me in itself is like the way that people just nonchalantly knock off rights and say that they're not even that. It's just like, oh, that's just something that it doesn't go along with what I'm saying right now. That in itself is kind of nonchalantly throwing away what they think they know about the forefathers, or what even they called themselves before people started calling them forefathers, because they didn't call themselves forefathers. They did not call themselves forefathers. They just said, dude, we're gonna make something, and it's if it's awesome, we're gonna be tight about it. It's gonna be great. And they were drunk as fuck, and they partied their goddamn asses off. And they got what's the word? I don't want to say any other word except fucking lit. They got lit. Like, they got fucking drunk like a motherfucker, like all the time. They got high. They smoked. They drank. They did a bunch of shit. It's probably why they had so many kids. I think a lot of people have assumptory figures on what people were and how they were. Like, because I'm better than who came before me. Like I said before, we are not the sins of our fathers. But the sins of our fathers, sometimes people don't even understand or even realize is pretty much non-existent. In most cases, it's not even something that you can comment on sometimes because of its validity to the way that sometimes people even think today. Like, some people would think that it's like, oh, let's see. It's inherently American. It's inherently, let's say, old folkian to not call someone by their gender, or to realize even that gender is on a spectrum. But that in itself probably was realized back in the day. But in the same sense, they didn't want to assume it. They didn't want to bring anyone out of the woodwork in order to be able to call them, brand them a witch or a wizard or a warlock or a demon or anything like that. They would, because there were people in this world that would kill those people. That would kill them if they knew who they were. And there were no ways to be able to get rid of those people, or to be able to have those people all go on an island and just die. But, but I'm not saying that those people need to die. I'm just saying that those people need to realize that the reasons why they think the way they do, or the reasons why they think the way they want to, or the way they have been for that time, not the way they think, that people who think the way they want to, but people who think in a way that's damning to another individual. They think that way because they got abused as well. They think that way because they got abused and taught that someone is someone that is that person over there who isn't like them is the embodiment of all that they do not like, or what is evil to them. And I think that the most that people even think about, or people even think about today, is, oh, he just got played, or, oh my gosh, that is so terrifying, how did he do that? Or, oh my god, that is so amazing, what he did. Do you see him dunk that ball, or do you see he played the sports? When people start thinking that it takes a lot more to be able to take all those actions, put them into one, and then still be able to lead a regular life, that in itself takes talent. That in itself takes gall, or what people would call bravery, or anything like that.
Well, I'll be fucked.
I find out a lot of times that the people that I actually looked up to, and that's the reason why I don't want to meet any of the people that I know on my friends list of like the people that I follow or anything like that. The people who are like way up there and they're having a good time, and it's like those people who think that they're having a good time, you know? They're having a fun time being themselves, and I don't want to try to ruin their day, because I wouldn't want them to ruin mine. Because I looked up to them at some points. Then I realized at most points, they weren't people that I actually made them out to be. There were a lot of people that ruined the concept of even a hero for me. A lot of people who ruined it, because there were people who were just completely on drugs and they didn't give a shit, or they didn't care about their reputation or the way that they held themselves. And no, I'd still think that there is a valid way to be able to become someone's retributional hero and be able to stand for mental health, I think, and still be all there. Like, to still be there for someone, to still be in the mix and be able to be like, I'm still in my career and I'm still doing the things that I want to do, and I'm still saying, hey, it's good to be positive about yourself. That I'm saying that there are people like that that actually do the right things and don't I don't want to get into it anymore, but those are the reasons why, because of literally the 80s and the 70s and all those other, and the 90s, because there were literally no heroes in the 90s. There were people who were just trying to look for a buck, or look for something, or they were trying to get paid. Except for 311, because, you know. Our concert? What? Shit. Everybody just wants to get paid. And some people are outright trying to. But whenever you actually come across people who actually want to see how far they can go, or how talented they are, those are the people that I usually follow. And if for some reason they decide that they're going to be on that off that path and be like, that's cool, but know that I won't follow them that much, or be around them that much. Like, there's certain points in a certain person's career where they just come up with the same joke or the same line or the same tune every single time. And the more I think about it, the more I've seen it so many times without even noticing. And it was just them talented enough to be able to sneak in that line that sounded exactly like the last one. To sneak in that joke that was literally the same pacing, the same nuance, the same whatever, the same character, the same anything that they had done thousands and thousands of times before. The same immediate character they've played over and over again in the same generic movie that they decided that they were going to play in because they thought that it would be good for their career to be able to have some sort of consistency, when in actuality they needed to be more artistic than consistent, because that's what an artist is usually. Because everyone thinks that there's a formula to be able to have greatness, when in actuality it's changing up the formula in a certain unique way that actually makes them great. And when you change that formula, do you still change that formula in the same way? No, you want to come up with new and different ways, but to be able to have a certain variation of styles to where you'll actually be able to make a career out of it. And when you enjoy your work for the most part, you'll be able to have a job no matter what. And also, it happens to do like with, it hits me every single time when I see someone. I'm just laughing out loud, and I'm realizing that I'm laughing at the same joke over and over again, and they trick me. And not only do they trick me, but they just decided that they're going to get paid because of it. And people are none the wiser. Or people are the wiser, and that's the reason why they pay them. Because they knew that they would come up with those jokes, and that's the reason why, because a whole bunch of people would laugh, or they knew they would come up with that certain line, or that certain character face, or that certain character line, or that eyebrow, or that smile, or that curse word, or the way they curse, or the way they say a certain word, or anything like that, or the way they would say that they have that certain bravado to be able to make me get the shivers every single time I see them on a freaking phone or a picture, any of that. The way that you can come up with different things, or the way that you can do different things. Notice that not every idea has always been come up with yet. There are classical artists and classical styles of a whole bunch of different stuff that are still going on to this day, and people who are still playing their music and playing different styles of their music and actually coming up with a whole bunch of different variations of it. If there are that many different variations of what a classical style of music is, then there are assumatorily so many different variations of what people can actually do as far as jokes, There's so many different variations of what people would come up with as far as like either linear jokes, absurdicism, or any of that stuff. And that's the reason why I think that it's the reason why I think that those are my heroes sometimes. The people who come up with the most original kind of stuff, not the most original like packaging, but because you can get bought on a package sometimes.
Oh, give me a break.
And realize that like that just because they're like the same, it's like because like there was in rap music there was this absurdicism that started to come out in the early or in the late 2000s or the late teen 2000s, and I think that should have been explored more, because it can turn into just hardcore lyricism. They're back to the root of where I think rap itself, or even lyricism, or even any sort of thing, like the heart of what actual people think is lyricism today. And I think that it's like saying the same line over and over again isn't gonna catch them as much as saying the same set of octaves, the same set of octaves with like over 13,000 different words, or 1,300, not 13,000, like at least 100 or 200 words that you can possibly say. It's like that's literally what I wish that people would do if they were going to become a rapper, or if they were going to become a comedic artist, to be able to come up with a different kind of joke, or a different word for a joke every single day, because they'd be able, that would hold the, because the way we see the scientific method, the way we see the things we think about every single day, the way we see the words that come out of our mouths, and even with that, like that's what invented the light bulb. That's what invented the world as we know it today. Is realizing that the human brain is not in any way aligned with the scientific method, but it's something we use to get what we want whenever we can't see the answer with just what we have. What we have is literally just a jumble of things that can be put together in words and forms and spat out within our own grasp, or within our own words or mouths or anything like that. The big question about every single aspect of what you actually think, about what you actually know, about even oh man, and it's not just rhyming on a good beat. It's not just saying something that you've never said before, because in a way you're saying the same things over and over again, just in a different path line. But understanding that there are tidbits, it's like taking a video as much as you taking little pictures of different perspectives of something. It's like, oh, that's a camera saying a video of the same thing over and over again. But you taking pictures of different sides of what you see or what you think. In reality, people are just perceiving that. So in actuality, giving people less sometimes, showing people, but giving people less of what they know. And I do use abstract thoughts to be able to come up with some sort of scientific process in my own brain to be able to make sure that I can come up with any type of word, and once I get going, it's hard to stop me. I'm literally like the word juggernaut. I'm like the WordPress juggernaut. But the way you understand comedy, or the way you understand a certain aspect of anything that you're experiencing, whether it be a movie or whether you see a movie and you're like, oh my god, this dude's acting the exact same way that I've seen every single protagonist play in a role ever. It's like he's not showing anything new to anything. It's just like I see and hear the same story over and over again in every single thing that I possibly consume. And that's why I sometimes don't consume much. But when I do, I consume a variation of different things because I don't want to be validated all the time. That's the point, is within your own consumption of media, do you seek to get validated or do you seek information? Do you seek to see someone's story, or to see someone's life, or to see anything around you turn into art? Because I know there's embellishment on any side of any story that you see out there, and now I'm gonna die. I really wish that there was a ramp down there that I could actually go on, but it's fine. And that has everything to do with what you think about every single day. It's what has every single world and person in a tizzy over what they think about that drives them or pushes them to become whatever person they really want to be. Seeing the same media and validation over and over again is sometimes good for people who have menial tasks, and realizing that those things get them to the way that they want to be and the places they want to go. And also in art and in realization and in the people who push the companies or in research and development are the ones that are actually trying to come up with the new ideas that'll set apart any situation and any subplot, to be able to see an aspect of something that they haven't seen before, to be able to make sure that that aspect or that thing or that something or that wonderful fantasy could be realized in a new light. And only because it's not the things that we see on sci-fi, because the concepts themselves come from reality. It's like every single concept that anyone ever saw on a sci-fi movie was based on what reality was and how we were actually reacting with every single aspect. We use thermal, we use a whole bunch of different kinds of propulsion. Yeah. Realizing that all that stuff from Star Wars and all that stuff from actual, like that shit from Star Wars is actually feasible. Like all the ships and all the flying and all that other different hyperdrives and how that would actually happen. That was actually someone coming up with a calculation, but actually like two ships running into each other and shit. That actually probably would happen. If there were such thing as hyperspace, or I guess what is it called? Not hyperspace, but experiencing a light dimension through or even astral projecting through to a different thing. There have literally been studies in the FBI and the CIA that actually prove that forward looking is a real thing. Like judging by guesses and also by what they think or how they using a person as a radar is literally happened before. And I'm not saying that it ever had anything to do with the Titanic, but that was an insurance scam. It's literally an insurance scam. It's just like, yeah, it's like, oh, coincidence is coincidence, right? It's like those binoculars, huh? It's just like, no, there should have been somebody with the binoculars, because there were tons of people on the crew, and all of them should have had binoculars. It's called an insurance scam. It happened all the time before email, and it still happens to this day. They don't want to say it. Oh, it's not been proven. I'm telling you today, it was an insurance scam. It was completely an insurance scam. Like they want to say that, like, oh, but it's not proven, so I can still speculate on what actually happened. It's like, yeah, sure, you can speculate all you fucking want. You can speculate all goddamn day, but it was an insurance scam. That's what gets me about some of the ideas that some people present. Sometimes they present speculative ideas, thinking that a market is in such dire need of something or someone to be able to push it through or to be able to see it through, when in actuality those things only actually happen when people are designed to be able to make sure that they can make those sort of things. It's just like the only reason why something stays in a loop sometimes or that culture remains the same is because people run out of money. Just like those dudes who make those amazing, awesome videos. It's like, yeah, they don't own those amazing planes or those private jets because you have to fuel up and run for room space on, or that run for runway space on those jets, for those jets every single time they're refueled. They have to be covered and have all their certifications by every. Oh, you son of a bitch. How's it going? I'm gonna ride off into the sunset now. But yeah, they have a lot of different things and people that go into a lot of different things and have gone into a lot of different stuff. Like, say for instance, people don't just go into YouTube. Like if I really wanted to make money right now, I'd probably go into textiles. You see a need, you fill it. You see a need, you look at it, and you look at the responsibility of other people, and you're like, hey, if you can't do it, then I can. And if you pay me, then I'll do it a lot. Oh my gosh, there we go. Yes. Like right now, literally, I would go into textiles, like no questions asked. But I go into textiles under my own name, so there's going to be a huge market for it because people are gonna. But the way that people dress in every single movie is the way that people are going to design their lives or design their at least their wardrobe. There are a whole bunch of people with disposable income that aren't buying, that aren't wanting to buy, that aren't going to buy because they're just not into it. They're just like, hey, it's much easier to rent, and if you rent, then there's a way better. If you rent, then there's a way better chance of you getting your money back triple or quadruple fold in 10 to 15 years. And if you save at least a quarter of that, you'll be able to buy another house and rent it out. There are so many ways to actually make a buck and to be able to make something happen. And there are literally people out there that are begging for like somebody to just come in and say, "Hey, what should I do? How should I do this?" Like there are so many opportunities for what people would call life coaches or anything like that, or even just wardrobe managers. It's like every single time you come up with an idea, I'll pay you $5. Every single time you, and after that, after they make their first $100,000, every single time you come up with an idea, I will pay you $100. I will pay you $100 an hour to come up with ideas. It would be amazing. There are so many different ways to come up with a certain type of joke, to be able to format it to fit anyone else's wants or anything like that. And also too, people really need to understand is that as far as markets go, the ways that people laundered money into a whole bunch of different areas and to a whole bunch of different places and did a whole bunch of different things with it, the more I think that, and it's hard to say this, but I really think that religion is on the way out. The things that it promised to stop were still happening. The people that it promised to stop sometimes starve to death. And I'm not saying that it had anything to do with anyone. I'm not saying that it had anything to do with Jesus or anything like that, because Jesus probably could have existed, but he probably could have been called someone as Jesus, and he probably had a longer name than that. That's probably just what they noticed him as, or maybe a name that he gave himself. And I don't want to compare him to anyone, or and my roommates are still arguing. They just wanted to be in the show. There are a lot of people that really matter. And there are a lot of people that actually do live in a world that is just controlled by religion. I don't want to quote anyone or anything because I still don't believe that Shakespeare was a real person. It could have been somebody like Mark Twain or anything like that. It's like everyone loves Shakespeare and all that other different stuff, and I'm just like, that's cool. That I don't believe in him ever existing. I just think that it was a whole bunch of playwrights under one roof. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but also too, it's not the same ideas coming from the same person. That's the whole reason, though, that sometimes they would sell it as. It's like, all these ideas came from this one guy. And there was probably a lot of women doing it. But understandably so. Women are worth more attention. And in some people's religions, they don't even get a chance to even speak. It's the reason why sometimes, or not even just religions, but in some people's belief systems, because sometimes they're not even considered religions, they're considered extremists. And I'm telling you that the more we go out there, the more we start discovering, the more we start realizing things, the more we'll realize that people don't think like us. The more alone you'll feel. The more you'll be like those quick anecdotes, and the more those aspects of hey, I'm changing to this now, or hey, I'm doing this whole thing. They're just not going to make any sense. I know the reasons why people make religion, though. I know the reason why people come up with belief systems that has a reason for the women that don't speak. I already know the source code of what religion actually is. So it's stupid to continue something that you thought would make you heal, but only makes you suffer more because of it. And I'm not saying that there's any time limit or anything like that, because there isn't. There never was. No one's getting ready for anything. No one's going anywhere. If they are going anywhere, then they're going somewhere in about a few billion years. The more people just get put in the ground, the more they're going to realize that it's just the same shit over and over again. They're going to start to realize that the more places they'll just be able to be without someone else's attention. The more they'll realize that they're everywhere once they realize that they go somewhere else. And I gotta shoot that guy with the motorcycle. And that's nothing about religion. It's just a place about science. Is you can't be in two places at once and then enjoy being at one place at the same time. Can't be in two places at once, because it sucks. It sucks so bad. It's gotta suck. Oh man, this would suck. But realize that you're worth it. You're worth a second opinion. You're worth a second chance. And you're always worth someone not letting you change, but letting yourself change. Sometimes you use someone else to be able to say that I can change on my own and I can do things on my own. And no matter what, no matter if you die in the process, or if not die in the process, because people won't die in the process, but you'll have a better life, even if you still have the disability. Not to say that you'll die, but realize that you can use breathing exercises and breathing techniques to be able to exist. Oh man, it's just... meditation is a very, very key element in being able to be in two places at once without actually being in two places at once. And realizing that you're I'm gonna turn and spin. I'm gonna probably run into that pole. No, I didn't. Awesome. And I'm probably gonna die. I'm dying. Oh my gosh, that would have not looked well on a freaking X-ray. But, oh man, how can I say this without sounding weird? Because there have been so many other people that actually sound weird and do weird things and say, like, weird stuff like, oh, there's, like, so many ways to actually believe in what you want to believe and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, you can believe in what you want to believe, but realize that at the very least, that world is just starting. It's like that whole like I read in a book at some point there was like this. There's this thing like you gotta be like there's your and it was extremely Christian. Like it was very, very Christian. Like there were Christian overtones in it because of the lion and the witch in the wardrobe and all that different stuff like that. It's like, well, listen to your spirit guide. He is, and it wasn't a tape because I was actually just hearing this voice in my head as I was saying it. I was being that sarcastic to this book, yes. It's got the head of a lion and the body of a man. It's just like, are you doing your own furry simulator? It's like the first furry simulator was a breathing exercise book that I actually bought. But within the rights of what you only consume whenever you are just feeling down or blue, realize that those, and I don't want to say they manipulate you, but if you allow them, they can. It's the reason why I don't believe in anything, because I know that it's just something for me to buy again. It's something for me to buy so I can have something in common with someone who's on a different scale of what I think, and or has an idea that I might be able to collaborate with them. If I had that thing in common with them, then I'd be able to collaborate. They think that I'd be able to collaborate with them more. The person who's manipulating me into believing that one thing, but understandably so, I don't believe in gods. And I believe that if there were gods, that they would not want anyone to believe in them, because it would be like really bad, because they would just be douches all the time. Because they would be, most of the time. They'd be absolute douches. They'd be like, you can't get this one thing unless you create a something in your mind, and then create it. They'd be douches. They'd be big douches, and they'd hate people for no reason. Because they'd be like, why do my tasks with all these things? They'd be extremely melodramatic. It's what God is, if he is God. I mean, I'm saying him as a character, basically, because that's what he would be if he was real. He'd be extremely melodramatic, and he'd hate everyone. Because if he loved everyone so fully, then no, not that he wouldn't allow things to happen. He would just be a douche. Trust me on this. If he existed, he'd be a douche. If he existed, he'd just want to be inside of you. He'd be a parasite, just like you. Because that's what everybody is, parasites. People think that like people who don't know the definition of what parasite actually means, I mean, like feed off of other things to be able to gain sustenance. See, that's the reason why nobody would want God to be able to see, or anyone be able to see God eating. Because then God wouldn't be God. God would be like you, a parasite. Because that's what would happen if God were a God, and if God wanted to be God, because there is a choice in that too, if he ever wanted to be. Because oh man, I've gotten into too much Bible study, but it's cool. But I don't ever I don't think about that too much. But I think about what manipulates people every day, and what goes through their head, what goes through people's head trying to understand or be able to calculate what an actual thought is. and to be able to morph what that thought actually means, or even to, I mean, it's like, oh man, or to think if people themselves were, let's say, like, what, demigods, I guess, since we are all God's children, then we'd be demigods, right? Or semi-gods, or anything like that. Just blowing out my candle. Think about it. Also, too, thinking about whether or not that thought even is feasible, because when you believe in something, that doesn't make it true. It makes it more powerful than you. When you believe in an idea, all that does is create a unity on something that you, a unity on a character, or a character arc, or you're even your own psyche. Basically, it helps you to be able to do things that people wouldn't normally do, and don't realize that they're adept or inept at actually doing. So, for instance, why did the chicken cross the road? Because that's what chickens do. They do whatever the fuck they want. It's like saying that understands whether or not the chicken wasn't taught to be able to cross roads, but it crossed a road by itself, looking both ways. Picking apart the idea that that chicken itself was inherently taught to be able to look for danger before it crosses something that it doesn't understand, that in itself lies logic. And that's the reason why people say, why did the chicken cross the road? Understanding whether or not something itself gained moral ambiguity or a moral sentience to be able to understand danger where danger they don't understand whether or not danger is the ability to create a pattern. To be able to see the entire way down, or to see the entire way the other way, and then realize that there's no danger, lies evolution. And within that evolution is the ability to be able to see past your own pattern, to be able to see past the fact of whether or not that danger is imminent or not, or to even insinuate that that danger itself would come in certain forms, to be able to identify what that danger is, or that emanating object. Not even danger, it could be just something you don't want to interact with at a certain time. God damn it. But yeah, chickens crossing roads. It's the reason why they do. My dad always asked me why the chicken crossed the road, and I really got into it. I really think that the chicken crosses the road is because they feel the pulse of the engine passing by, because of the fact that it's only one moving piece, and then you can feel the vibration or the heat coming off, or the heat vibration, and I think that's the point too, is because through temperature changing on our world and changing within our world, realizing that that danger itself is not through heat and heat index and heat things, you're able to see a wave of something. To be able to see a wave of something through actual heat, like a sound wave itself, you'd be able to understand through the heat index whether or not a sound wave is coming from, whether or not a sound wave is coming from, or even just in the sand or in the grass or anything like that. You'd be able to realize it through your feet and be able to see it through something. And that's the reason why I think the chicken crosses the road with caution. So, I'm going to blow something up. That's going to be fun. There we go, and bang, bang. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna blow something up because it's an hour 16 minutes, and my nose is nuffy. Awesome. Yeah. Wait, you know what? There we go. Yay, I blew myself up a little bit, kind of. That was stupid. Need to do something fun, or awesome, or cool, or amazing. Or something amazingly awesome, amazingly cool, or cool, awesome, amazing. So why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know. A plethy of different reasons, and let's see if we can get him. All right, let's see if we can get anything from here. Got him. I think the biggest reason why the chicken crossed the road is because it felt like it. Not because it felt the need or the want to, but every creature within our and within our within our great amazing world of things would enjoy a what's the word? There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Citizens report a 996 on East Joshua Road in Sandy Shores.
This is Adam 5. Copy that. We'll keep an eye out.
Citizens reporting a 996 on East Joshua Road.
But yeah, basically, every single creature has a creative want to be able to explore its own surroundings, to be able to see where is unseen, to be able to notice what is not noticeable at a certain given distance.
Units reporting a 996
And that is the reason why the chicken wanted to cross the road. In my own personal opinion. Bam, son! Explosion. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm blowing shit up. It's gonna be tight. Tonight.
Suspect westbound
Tonight.
on Joshua Road.
Tonight.
Sandy Shores.
Put on the light. Put on the light. Turn on the light. Shit! I didn't know there was any dudes right there. Okay, be yourself. And explore your world. No. Shit. That's a different thing. Enjoy what you do. Because if you don't, then... And even if you don't enjoy what you do, keep going until you can find something that you enjoy to do. Don't just leave it, because that's not fun for anyone, you know? And be a better person every single day. I went through today, so I know you can too. You are your own one-man metaphorical bomb squad. You can defuse situations before they happen. You can make sure that you're a better person every single day, and no matter if you have a certain disability or if you don't have a certain disability, you have the power to be able to make sure that you can have a good day. No matter if you have some sort of debilitating virus or debilitating thing or debilitating disease or anything like that, or just be yourself. And if people like it or people want to see it, then put it in a vase and wait for someone, and don't take them hostage. And you can live in a castle if you want to. And that castle can be adorned with so many different enchanted things. And don't be a werewolf, though, because werewolves put people in jail cells, and they don't understand things because they're 20-year-old boys. Gaston! Alright. Have a good day.